I'm Michael Chipman, Lagree Senior Master Trainer, and welcome to the Do You Lagree podcast. Each episode, you'll meet the people behind the Lagree method, the studio owners, trainers, founders, and experts who share how they discovered Lagree and the moment they knew they wanted to bring it to their communities. We'll talk about the rewards and challenges of building a business and community around this powerful fitness method and the lessons learned along the way. Now, let's get to today's episode. Hey everyone, welcome to episode 8 of the Do You Lagree podcast. I'm Michael Chipman, and I'm very happy to have the chance to talk today with two amazing members of the Lagree community, Briana Anderson and Ellen Olson. Briana is a Lagree Master Trainer who also has a Bachelor of Arts in Kinesiology and a Master of Arts in Spiritual Psychology. And Ellen is a Lagree Master Trainer as well as a psychiatric and pediatric nurse practitioner and the owner of Scorch Fitness Lagree Studios North and South in Asheville, North Carolina. They have an incredible presence on social media and are passionate teachers and practitioners of the Lagree method. If you don't follow them on Instagram, you really should, because I've learned as much from them as anyone else about beautiful form and alignment and the Lagree method. And I might add that I first met them when we all got level 3 certified with Sebastian in LA in February of 2023. And look at us now. A lot of water under that bridge. But Ellen and Briana, welcome to Do You Lagree?
Thank you. We're so excited to be here.
Yeah. Thank you for having us. It's very fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is going to be a fun conversation. We've all watched each other's journey over the years, and it's always kind of a circuitous route in how people find their way into Lagree. And it sounds like you've both had incredible lives and background experience. And I'm just wondering what your Lagree story is. How did you discover it? What hooked you to the method originally? And then what led you to open a studio and then eventually become master trainers?
I found Lagree in Hawaii. That's where I got my master's degree in nursing. I moved there from Oregon. I had gotten into teaching at Core Power Yoga, and I had met someone there who kind of introduced me to it. There's a bit of a storied history, so I won't get too into it, but essentially that led me to discovering Lagree. I was getting another certification for my psych nurse practitioner at that time, so I took a class in Phoenix and was kind of like, honestly, I don't even remember it because that time is very chaotic for me. But remember going like, okay, this is a cool thing, and talking to my mom to be like, hey, this is something that kind of fell into my lap. Like, what do you think? And she was like, not that my mom makes all my decisions for me, but got to talk to the mom. And she was like, I think it's kind of a cool idea too, and kind of just jumped right in. And so I'd taken one class before getting certified officially. I flew out to LA, got certified, and then we're like going to move, basically across the world from Hawaii. It's 5,000 miles away to Asheville to open a studio in a place that had never heard of Lagree yet. So it was a bit of a, crazy endeavor, but it's been so worth it in so many ways. Lots of ups and downs, but I didn't go to school becoming a nurse practitioner to think, I'm going to go, move across the world and open a Lagree studio. But it's been super fun and challenging and hard and amazing and all the things, so it was definitely this crazy thing of like, how did you get from Hawaii to North Carolina? And everyone's always like, well, why did you move Hawaii? And, so many things, but, it's been quite a wild ride.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I didn't expect to be living in the south of France and teaching Lagree all over Europe when I was a music student in Ohio back in the early 2000s either. So it's always everyone has an amazing story.
Yeah. And I was actually living in Los Angeles 12 years ago, and I had a job at the time while I was getting my master's. I was an aide for a boy in a wheelchair. Like, he was like his physical aide and kind of nanny, and I was with him for many years, and he just kept getting bigger and bigger and bigger and was growing into like a full-size man, and I wasn't really able to help him as well anymore. Like, I wasn't strong enough. And even coming from, like, I played basketball in college, I had a really big sports background, I was a physical trainer before that, but I thought I was going to have to quit my job helping him. But then I had a really close girlfriend girlfriend who invited me to a Lagree class that her boyfriend taught. And it was kind of at that time where I just was like, wow, I can like be an athlete again. And within like a month of doing Lagree, I was able to physically assist him and like help him with transfers. And I didn't have to quit my job because Lagree helped me become that strong enough to like help another physical human, you know, who wasn't supporting his own body weight. And I was able to do that again after. So that was pretty special part of the journey. And then, of course,
what an incredible story. Oh my God.
Yeah.
It's really,
and
that's really amazing.
Thank you. It was really, yeah, special to get to do that and feel empowered, you know, by it too. And then I left Los Angeles and moved to Asheville where there wasn't any Lagree until Ellen moved here, and I kind of stalked her and was like, made her let me, you know, be an instructor. So it really was like, it was really cool how it found me again.
That's a really amazing story, and actually, I think it's an interesting aspect of your work, kinesiology, spiritual psychology, not too separate from some of the work that we do in Lagree. Actually, there's a lot of body awareness and, frankly, a lot of psychology that's involved in what we do. And I was just wondering, like, what because I've seen a lot of sort of crossover in my professional experience, both as a singer and as a musician, in the terms of choosing music and feeling music and teaching from music, and then also just teaching people as a college professor for many years and creating learning environments. And I'm wondering what your background and experience as nurse practitioner, as kinesthesiologist, et cetera, have contributed to your work in Lagree as well.
Mm-hmm.
Big time. Here I go.
You go.
Okay. Well, yeah, the psychology
this is Briana.
Yeah, it's Briana. The psychology piece for sure. Because I remember after I took my kinesiology bachelor's, I was just a personal trainer in New York City. And it was cool. It was really cool to help people get healthy, but there wasn't the mind, body, spirit connection of all of it. It was just like helping people's bodies all day. So then it was after the master's in spiritual psychology where it really clicked. And I was like, oh, this is everything. This is everything all in one. And it's like helping people grow mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually was like the full package. So getting to speak to that in a Lagree class where people are really struggling, they're really struggling and they're really butting up against their limitations and they're very much finding that they can move past them. It's really inspiring to be in a room where that's happening every single day.
How do you apply your training in helping people to go past those moments of intensity and pain and discomfort, and push past those moments of feeling like they have to give up?
I mean, it really is so many elements of talk therapy, like cognitive behavioral stuff. It's about like limiting beliefs, being able to use affirmations, using different parts and aspects of the self. Like, yeah, there is a part of yourself that is very much like, this is hard and I don't want to do it. And why am I here? And then there's another part of you that very much is like, no, let's go. Like, I want to see what's on the other side of this, and just helping them tap into those different aspects of themselves where they get to feel more empowered and they get to feel more alive, and helping them find those in these really difficult moments and recognize like, oh, I do have that. Yes, we all have the whiny self, of course. Like, I want to whine and cry and sit in the corner all the time, but also there's the other part that wants to be very much alive in this world doing cool stuff.
I think that's so powerful. And it's, we spend so much, we only have so much time in certifications to we have to teach them the basic scientific principles behind the method and the details of form and alignment and all the exercises in 5 series in 3 or 4 days. And I wish we had more time to get into that kind of high level teaching skill and encouragement. We talk about educate, motivate, and inspire, but it sounds like that's a huge part of what you do. Do you incorporate that when you do your certifications? Do you talk about that, or is that something that you feel like is kind of maybe sometime for a level 2 class? Or what are your thoughts on that? Because I think it's a really powerful and valuable skill to be able to keep people in that intensity.
Yeah, we definitely do. When we talk about cueing, like effective cueing, we always joke like we love talking about cueing, and we love setting up the certifications with like talking about that even before we get into the exercises, so that they can have that baseline of like, okay, thinking about how they're going to cue. And then we talk about this educate, motivate, inspire piece. And of course that has to come second after you get down the basics, right? You can't be like, you got this, you're good. If not, tell people what to do, which we see, right? So
that's what I love. When people are in a certification and they walk past someone with the completely wrong form. They're like,
Yeah.
beautiful.
Yes, you're beautiful.
Perfect.
Yes, yes, exactly.
Yeah, it happens all the time.
Yeah, so it's really fun. Like from, even from you, I'm sure you see it like from day 1 to day 3 or 4, you see their, their improvements. And it's so amazing to see because by the third day, they start to bring in that, be the teacher part and educate and motivate, inspire, and they'll kind of pull out their personality a little bit. And so it's really, really exciting to see. So we definitely, really want them to walk out of there, definitely, of course, they're not ready to teach, but feeling, a little bit more confident in themselves in that piece of it and not just like, okay, I learned all the exercises. I know how to start to cue them and kind of pull little pieces of the personality out. And it's so fun to see. We talk a lot about like, because trainings are hard, like cycle, like we always have to give a pep talk on usually by the end of day 2, everyone's just kind of like, oh, I don't know if I can do this. And we're like, you guys, this is really, really hard. Like, it's really hard to learn something new as an adult. We don't like being bad at things. And so you kind of have to give them that little talk of like, it's going to be okay, and you're going to get this. And then usually, by the end, they're all feeling much better, because they're like, okay, I got through that hump of like just information overload, and so it's really exciting to see that growth in that very short amount of time. But we talk a ton about like, how we motivate our clients and what we see and how to, it's hard, it's hard for us still. We talk about that like 8 years in and she's 12 years in, like moves are so hard, they don't get easy.
That's what I tell people too.
And so like, and people look at us like, oh, you guys can do everything. And I'm like, no, we cannot do everything. Like we are not, we can do a lot, of course, more so than like a beginner person, but like, that's why we keep coming back because we love the method because it's always so challenging no matter what we do.
Yeah, we know what the ideals are. We know what the expectations are. We know how to teach it and cue. We know what we're striving for. But it has never gotten easy for me. Like I mean, maybe the mental endurance has gotten better, or I'm able to just sort of trick myself into staying a little bit longer, or maybe just okay, I really want to like quit and crawl in a corner, like you said, and cry. But being able to not do that is probably the one thing that's improved for me over time.
Totally.
So yeah, that's a big part of it. I wonder also, you've done so many great videos, educational videos, and you've invested so much beautiful work in what you do on Instagram in terms of teaching people about the method. And I wonder if that comes from your background and work as well, and then supplementing the work that you do as master trainers. Just if you talk a little bit about, because I love the educational spirit of Lagree people, and I feel like so many of the trainers out there in the world are putting stuff out there, but yours really stands out. And I'm wondering if you could talk a little bit about the motivation and what you think about putting educational material and content out into the social media universe.
Well, thank you for the compliment.
That's very sweet.
Yeah, we
For
do
real,
enjoy
though,
it.
It's awesome stuff.
Thank you. They take a long time to do. They're like really time consuming. But I think I see it more as like a creative outlet too, because I have an art minor. And so it's a way for to like put videos together and do a visual medium. And I think we are so much sticklers about like, if there isn't form, there's nothing, and like, there's so many pieces in a certification that just don't get talked about. There's fine-tuned things that people are just getting the overarching information, and there's so much minutia involved in it too. So it's a little way to give a little bit of that minutia, after the fact, or help people. And even though these are like 90-second videos, and these could be, 9-minute videos, right. we really broke it down. But
on the other hand, videos and pictures are worth 1,000 words. I mean, it's really powerful.
I think also too, you don't really know in a group setting with the certifications, like what people's brains are actually intaking. You're giving them a lot of information and you don't know how much they're processing or how much they're retaining or, application wise. And so it's so nice to just give them tidbits later that they can apply back to like, oh, that's what they meant. Or, oh, I think they said something about that. Or, oh, I totally missed that. And I think it's a way for us to just keep a soft touch on the people that we got to meet and want to just affect and keep Lagree very high standard.
Well, I love it, and congratulations on all of it. Can you just tell people what your Instagram handles are, or which account would be the best one to follow you on?
Yeah, it's at Teach Lagree.
At Teach Lagree.
On Instagram,
Instagram.
Instagram. We haven't foray into Snap, nor TikTok, none of that.
Not yet.
Just Instagram.
I mean, we do our best. Those of us of a certain
The
generation.
weariness of your voice around that. I go, how do we do more? How do we do more?
And it's something that I'm interested in talking to you about. I know, Ellen, you're the owner of the studios there, but you're also a master trainer. And I've talked to Sharni, and when we had our conversation, she said, I don't know how studio owners are master trainers at the same time, because being a studio owner is such an all-encompassing 24/7, like, heart and soul and mind and body. And from what I've seen is from, being around a lot of different studios and a lot of studio owners, it just becomes, a 24/7 investment of time and energy and focus. How do you balance that with leading master trainings, both at your studio, and then you guys travel too, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I'd say I don't balance it well.
I'm crying.
Yeah. Maybe balance is not the right word.
No. I mean, it's interesting. I'm definitely very, very busy. And we try to limit our travel to like once a month, so that we're not, if we were to really try to expand the master trainer business, like we would, want to travel more, but for our personal lives and professional lives, it doesn't make sense for us to do that more. So we try to limit to like one training a month, which is super fun. And I think we really like the one training a month, and we get out, and even if they're here, they're still fun because we get to meet new people. Because I'm also not only the studio owner, but I'm still working as a nurse practitioner. So I'm almost working basically every single weekend. God. So it's a lot to manage, and it's probably not sustainable forever. But, it's funny. I've been a studio owner for coming up on 9 years. 9 years will be, it was started 9 years ago. Right now is when I was opening the first studio. And then I've opened a second studio, and then I've had to lose a studio and then open a third studio, which was not in the plan to open a third studio at this point. So I feel like I'm kind of in this, I'm starting over and over and over again. Like I get into this stride where everything is going like really well. And I have such an amazing team of teachers that, I can trust to, they take care of our clients. They take care of basically everything at the studio when I'm not there. And so I'm very, very grateful for that. But then I just keep getting hit with these roadblocks of like, okay, then it was COVID. Now it's the hurricane, whatever it is. And then I'm starting from square one. So it's a lot, and you're definitely always on. I definitely have to be mindful of like boundaries I set, and checking email at like 9 p.m. and trying, and even with like patients and stuff, like, oh, I got to check this and it's 10 o'clock at night, so trying to be a little more mindful of that. And then now I have a son too. So I've, even added more chaos to the day to day. But again, I think it goes back to just having a really awesome team. Like I got really lucky in all of my teachers, and with the new North studio, that's our newest one that opened just a couple months ago. Like I'm not there very often at all. I can't be there because of teaching at South and my other jobs. And so, but I'm not worried about it not running well. I have the support team in place to, make sure that everything's kind of going smoothly, and I'm doing some things from the back end. And so, a little bit of I think learning to be a little less, neurotic about things helps. Taking a little bit of everything's going to work out and everything's going to be okay type of approach, as well as, doing everything I can to kind of help grow the business as much as I can. So it's a lot. It's definitely a lot. And, I need breaks every now and then. And, but it's also, I'm here doing a podcast on a Monday at noon, I'm not working, so I have these pockets of time where I'm free during the week, and, I'm not working a full-time job plus, well, technically I am, but not as in a 9 to 5, so I do have these pockets of free time where I can be with my family and, be with my son and kind of find other pockets of time for work. So I'm lucky in that sense.
That's amazing. Yeah. The life work balance is an amazing thing. And everyone that I've talked to who has full-time jobs and who, has studios and who do, all kinds of different things, they all talk about the same thing, and it's putting the right team in place and having the right group of people around you that can do it. Because you literally can't be in all the places all at once. So yeah,
you cannot.
I'm sure that's the secret to success. Tell me about teaching certifications as a team. I think you're the only team that I know of who goes out and does it together. I in some ways, I'm kind of jealous. Like, I think that would be a lot more
so
fun.
Yeah.
Because it's a lot. I mean, it's a lot of energy.
Yeah.
It's a lot of focus and energy and communication. And when I'm there, like, I am on for 4 days nonstop, every second of every hour of every day that I'm there. And how does it work for you as a team, as a pair of master trainers going out and doing those certifications?
It's just nice.
Yeah. That's a word. It does.
Yeah. I mean, I think there's been a couple of times where we're like, I don't know if this weekend works. Should we offer just one of us going? And we kind of look at each other like, we don't really want to do that, but it's just
kind of have a thing.
Yes. Yeah. We kind of have a thing. It's just nice. Cause like you said, you're on no matter what, and we're on all the time. But like, if something comes up, like, if she needs to step away because something's going on, or I need to step away, we have that person to fall back on. Right. So like, we have that kind of, extra support. And I think we send out a feedback form on all of our trainings and that's a question we ask, like, what was it like with two master trainers? And I think the biggest part is like, they like the two separate takes, right? Cause they're getting, different, like, similar but different opinions, right, on different things and how moves work, whatever. I have a little bit of that studio owner experience that I can share. And then being able to split up in groups, like we do that where we can take groups, when we're practice teaching, and like you take half, I take half, so they get more time practicing, right? Whereas if you're doing that with only one of us, right, you're not going to get as much time. So I think people really
they get more personal attention and feedback as well.
Yeah. Exactly. So I think they
which is the whole secret sauce to getting better at this. So
yes. Yeah.
More high touch for sure. And because they have so many questions, and I think some people feel kind of embarrassed to ask, in a large group. So if you get them sussed out into smaller groups and they can ask like that minutia we were talking about before, and it just helps them get it on whatever level their brain is getting it on and stuff too. So, and I think we just come from we have different bodies. So we're able to talk about how to
work in my body, or this doesn't work in her body, or this feels weird in her body. So it's really fun.
And the energy piece, like you were saying, like you have to be on. It's like we can kind of feed off of each other and keep the energy going and kind of keep them going because they're getting tired, they're tanking, and so we get to, and also like working on each other, like, hey, if this is working, hey, let's switch gears. Hey, it's like teamwork in terms of like reading the room and seeing what needs to happen. So it's fun to have someone to bounce it off of. It's like, oh yeah, I see that too. Oh, how about we try this instead? And it's very collaborative, which is fun.
We just did a recent training with like all newbies, like all like maybe had taken a couple of classes combined. So we're kind of looking at each other like, oh boy, this is going to be a lot of work.
Welcome to my life.
Yeah.
Every single weekend.
We're really lucky. A lot of our trainings, they've been taking classes for a long time, or they're familiar. And we do have people that we've trained over the years that are brand new. But this one was like, a group of very brand new women. And there was this one, and she was very in her head and like didn't want to get on the mic and she was just like, I just have to get it right before I do anything. And then we worked together one-on-one while Briana was kind of helping out, some others. And like that moment for her, I think was the breakthrough that she needed. And if she didn't get that with just one master trainer, like she would have figured it out eventually, but like it was really awesome to see that, because it was like, you can do this, it's in there, like, but she just needed that little kind of pull away and that little kind of like one-on-one attention to give her that little pep talk to be like, no, keep going without all of the judgment in the room. No one's judging, but they all think they are, and so that was really fun to see, because it is so hard to do, and you get, people don't want to sound bad or whatever, think we're like judging them, and we're like, look, you guys, this is not what this is about. Like, we love to see all of your progress, and we're here to support you along every step of the way. So that was a really good example of having the two of us and being able to kind of pull a person aside and be like, look, like let's work through this together. And And I think it was very
that's
special.
really beautiful. I think, that I talked to Sharni about this too. The feedback is such an important part of what we do, and both giving and receiving feedback, and creating that culture of feedback. I feel like just the way you both are, and you have this very beautiful pedagogic spirit about you that provides a space for people to ask those kinds of questions and learn. And I think that's a really, like you said, people come into it with some like fear and insecurity, and when you create that safe space for them to not be perfect at the certification and to ask questions, it's such an important stepping stone for them to becoming really good teachers. Even if it's not great the first time, or when they do their first mock, providing that space for them and letting them just work their way through it without judgment, with encouragement, but with also honest and constructive feedback is a really important part of the work we do as master trainers. Very cool. Ellen, you talked about this a little bit. You touched on it, but you mentioned that you lost a studio, and I kind of watched this happen on social media in horror. Can you talk a little bit, or both of you talk a little bit about what happened to your studio and kind of the aftermath of that in terms of how you rebuilt and how the Lagree community came together around that event?
Yeah. Oh boy. It was.
Yes. How much crying is allowed on your podcast, Michael?
All of it.
Okay, all of it. Yeah. Yeah. So it was a lot because I was also 9 months pregnant. The hurricane hit September 27th. I was due October 2nd. So, and we didn't really think anything was going to happen. We were definitely kind of a little bit naive about the amount of destruction that was going to happen. And I'll never forget waking up in the morning. We had cameras at the studio, and my husband and I checked the cameras. This was at like 5 a.m. before we lost power, and the street was clear. And we were like, oh my God, like this is amazing. Like no water. The flooding came later, obviously, and we lost power. So we really didn't know what was going on. We woke up in our neighborhood, the trees down. It was like chaos, and we couldn't get to the other studio, which was fine. It had a little water damage. And then it was probably like 3 or 4 o'clock that day that I finally got, it was like a text before a picture that was like, I'm so sorry about the studio. And I was like, kind of just like,
oh shit.
What? Like, I don't know. And then a picture came through of it underwater.
Oh my God.
And then my husband and I just kind of looked at each other, and we're just like, okay, like, I mean, in shock, right? Just, I don't know what to do. I'm also pregnant, and planning on having a baby within the next week. So, what do we do? And then it was just kind of chaos, I think, from there for the next several weeks. I ended up.
So how much damage happened? I mean, it basically wiped out the whole studio, right? I mean, it was just
the building is still standing. I decided to not put my studio back in there just because a lot of history, and I just didn't want to deal with it. I ended up being able to salvage some of the megaformers, but they had been underwater for over a day.
Water to the rafters.
It was like 11 feet high of water. They were flooded for at least
floating, like megaformers floating in water.
Oh my God.
How does that much water, volume of water, like pick up you know how heavy those are?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
And
I didn't think they could float. I'm kind of shocked at that.
How?
Like I'll have to send you some pictures, but like they were all like just pushed up against each other,
piled on top,
curvy, like just everything, and everything was just covered in like sludge. It was like disgusting. So I ended up having to leave to go to New York to have the baby. So I really couldn't do much as far as like figuring out cleanup. So again, I have an amazing community of teachers and clients that really helped with that. But I mean, I was in labor, like on the phone with insurance people. Like it was not fun.
Oh my God.
Yeah. And like figuring out what to do. And we were just like, we can't have this discussion right now. Like this is too much. Like I don't know what to do. I have no idea what to do.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure at some point you just had to say, we just got to put this on hold. And
right. Yeah. So,
wow.
And then, there was a lot of like, what do I do? Do I reopen? Do I not reopen? And then, I was just like, I came here to build this community, and it's such an amazing community. And I was like, why not? Like, why not redo it? And so, and then I said, I didn't want to go back into that spot. It just didn't feel right. Like it just felt like time to move on from that space. And so it took a while to figure out where to put the replacement studio. And so we were closed at that location for over a year. It took over a year. It was basically like 2 months past the year mark that we reopened the replacement studio.
Wow.
Yeah. So it was tough. And there was a lot of emotion around all of it, not just the loss of the studio, but everything that was going on with our community and, everybody else that was affected by it, and, people dying and getting hurt. It was a lot. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we talk a lot about community, and that's the purpose of this podcast, is to develop connections and create community among people who do and practice and love Lagree. And I'm wondering what if there's anything that you found, like what is the connective tissue with the Lagree community? What is it that connects the people in your particular community to keep coming back to be part of what you guys have created there? You ladies have created there.
Yeah.
What is it? I don't even know. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I was just this isn't going to answer your question, but I was just having this memory of the way that people came together when they found out about the studio. It's like Ellen was gone. I was like trapped in my valley doing my own, chaos there. And like people came and donated their time and got into the sludge and brought like trucks to lift these, the team lifted the megas onto these things, brought them to farms, tried to clean them off, like all this of their own time, just because they loved, what Ellen had created and what they got to be a part of there. And people didn't have to do that. They didn't have to be in this kind of like toxic sludge and like be, giving of their time when their community is crumbling. And it was just, I was so moved by that. So like,
yeah, it was really special. And like the pictures of everybody masked up, boots, everything, like, and I felt so guilty because I'm like, here I am, I shouldn't feel guilty, but here I am, the owner, like not able to help, but I'm, post surgery after a baby, I couldn't do anything to help, so, but it was very special to see that people were just like, and of their own accord, like I didn't ask anybody to do it. They were just like, we want to do this for you. And I was like, okay, like, thank you, that's incredible. But I think it's just like Scorch has always just been, I think, just a really welcoming and inclusive place, and people just feel like they feel like it's like a place to go just to like just connect with people and be heard and feel seen. And we try to like connect with our clients more on just a exercise level. Like we know about, obviously some are friends of friends, like, Briana has friends that come, and, I've met a lot of friends, but like, just try to get to know people on a personal level too, not just like, hey, you did a great workout. It's like, hey, what's going on? We've seen, people having babies and going through surgeries and having injuries and coming back, and like, and we really, try to have that special connection too. And I think that's what really, really sets it apart, because it's not just, I'm just going to go work out and leave. Like, at our original studio that we lost, we had this huge lobby, and people would hang out for hours and just chat, talk, and just connect. And, and just, it's so fun to see people like chatting on the megas and like introducing each other, and, like, oh, I see you here or whatever. And, checking in with your clients and like hearing things and being like, oh yeah, tell me about that. And like, oh, you just graduated, amazing. And oh, you just got married. Like, and so they really see that like, we really care, not just about the actual workout. We obviously care very much about that, but we care about them as humans.
Yeah, I don't think you can overestimate the effect that you have on people's lives. I mean, when I moved from LA to France, I got these letters and cards from people who they would tell, like, I had no idea. And people would say, I mean, I knew who they were. I'd seen them in my class, but they said like, your class like really changed my life. And it was like the best part. I'm like, what? Like,
yeah.
What? We do our job, we do our best. We like to teach the method, but when you help people to feel good in their body and to walk through the world with a little more confidence, like it's such a powerful thing. And I think you can't overstate or overestimate how much of an effect that has on people.
So agree. And you don't ever know. Like I taught a woman's 250th class last week, and she came in tears. She brought me flowers for her 250th class. So I was like, these should be for you. And she came in tears. She said, when I found Scorch, how many years ago, she's like, I was estranged from my son. And I came here and I was so sad every day. And I came to Scorch and I felt so held and so loved and so accepted. And she was just sobbing and before this class. And it's like, we didn't know that, but we just folded her into the community and let her, to let her feel like how much we cared. And so I was, of course, sobbing in the lobby with her and doing, it's really so special that people bring their lives to the studio. They don't just pop in and pop out.
And I don't think we have to be explicit, like we're here to change people's lives. We're literally here to help people have stronger muscles and more balanced bodies, and but the effect that has on everything else is really powerful. I'm so curious to talk to you as well about. But just to finish that conversation, I'm so happy that you were able to come back from that and kind of like Phoenix rising from the ashes and from the mud and rebuilding. I'm so happy and proud of you guys for the strength that you had to come together and rebuild after all of that. It's really awe-inspiring, and congratulations to you and your community.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Thank you for doing it, Ellie.
One thing that I find a lot, and I wonder what your perspective is on this, in working in Europe where Lagree is so new in so many places. There's a few pockets where it's been around for a few years and people get it and know it, but for the most part, it's brand new in most of the places where I go. And so I'm teaching. Sometimes when I do the certification, I teach a class at the beginning of every certification day, just because I feel like if people have never taken Lagree before, they have to know how it feels in the body. Like what is this? And it's been a really amazing adventure coming from LA, where it's been around for years and everyone knows about it, coming to a place where it's completely brand new. And one thing that I have found, and I talked to Sharni about this, and I'm wondering what your perspective is on this, as master trainers and as people who started Lagree in a brand new community as well, about the question of intensity. Maintaining the integrity of the method, Lagree has to be intense. It has to be a high intensity, low impact method. But at the same time, there's a lot of studio owners that are afraid of scaring people away, or, of hitting them too hard at the beginning. What are your thoughts about how to make Lagree both accessible, especially in brand new communities, but also maintaining the integrity of the method and the intensity of the method?
Yeah, that's a great question. We were just talking about that earlier. I was showing her, I was like, I tried this move, and showed her the sequence, and she was like, well, did you have a really strong class? And he said, yes. And then we were talking about with both studios, we're getting new people, which every studio gets, where you're like, you have this class where you're like, oh, everybody's taken, over 100 classes or whatever. And then you have that one new person and you're like, oh, which is amazing, right? We want the new people, but then you're like, okay, well, I can't maybe really teach that crazy sequence because it's going to be a little bit too crazy for them. So, it's hard, and I'm, always I think basic, is super challenging. I love doing fun moves, and I love, spicing it up, and clients love it too. But, if you teach a really good basic sequence, your new people are going to understand it, and your OGs are going to have the ability to advance it to be able to get a really good workout. And so it's finding that balance between okay, not being too plain, but also, being plain enough that you're not making these people go already. They're like, what the fuck is happening? When they're on the machine for the first time. And then you're like, well, I'm going to do all these crazy things, and they can't even get into it, which doesn't make sense, right? They're not even doing anything. So it can be really tough. But I think, and part of that goes with cueing too, right? We talk a lot about that, of how to, modify, how to advance. And so that's one of the things I think we do really well at Scorch is I'll walk into a room and someone's teaching, and then 4 people are doing different moves because one has an injury, one's pregnant, one doesn't ever go to the back because it doesn't feel good, right? And so, and we encourage that. We're not you have to go to the back to make it hard. We're you need to listen to your body and meet your body where it's at right now and challenge yourself, right? So we've taught our clients over the years to one, know how to modify, two, also know how to advance it. And so I think that's something that we've really tried to do is in every class that we teach, whether there's brand new people or seasoned people, to be like, here, do this to take it up or take it down.
Yeah, the basics and the fundamentals can be just as intense as any spicy variation.
Yeah.
So knowing how to progress an exercise, or like you say, to modify it, I think is probably the key to that then. So it's not a matter of dialing back the intensity of the method. It's a matter of being, like you said, being a master of the details of each exercise and the method and how to adapt it to every single person in the room.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Like, I use my mom as an example all the time. My mom's in her 70s, and she started coming to Scorch when she moved to Asheville, I think like 5 years ago or so. We had to modify every single exercise for her, like every single one. She just wasn't strong enough. She was a little older. She had some balance issues. I mean, we were putting on more springs. We're always putting on our knees, like doing all stuff. And now, like this many years later, there's only one move that she modifies. Like she's watching that strength gain over the years and letting it be gradual and letting it not be just like throw her in balls to the wall and like let her, like struggle in a way that's not productive, which I think is a lot of the kind of like when people talk about the copycats, where they're like just making it hard to be hard and not doing it intelligently or elegantly. And so it was really awesome to see her. And now she's the most inspiring person in class. People are looking at her, it's like, I want to be like her when I grow up. And everyone wants to be next to her because we were able to do it safely and over time and be in a way where she's a badass. Like she can totally, I mean, she could teach a class probably at this point. And she's 77 right now, you guys. Like
amazing.
Crazy. Like she's really inspiring. And so I think also too, it's like there's no time frame on this. Like people fall in love with Lagree and they stick with Lagree for the most part. They find their thing. Like I said I was an athlete in college, and after I was done being an athlete, I was like, what do I just like run and do yoga for the rest of my life? I didn't really know where to go next. And now it's like, oh, I found my thing and this is it. Like this is it. And I think people, I think they come for that mental aspect. They come for the strength. They came for all of it, but they come because it just makes their life better and stuff. So it doesn't we don't need results tomorrow. They're going to come, they're going to come as we gradually grow, and having trust in that, I think, is what helps people really, really find the strength they need.
And it's low impact. And that's such an important part of it. And for people in their 70s or, who are wanting to, build and strengthen muscle in a safe way, or, people like me in their 50s who are wanting to do that, it's really, really important that the low impact nature of it. It has to be intense, but that's the cool thing about it. For people who love intensity and love working out, you get both. And I think it's one of the magic things about it. When I was teaching, when I moved to Paris a couple years ago, there was a couple in their 70s who had come to class, and they were the strongest ones in the class. Mm-hmm. I would like use them as my models because they were pretty sporty and like would ski and everything, but they would come, and there's a mental endurance aspect to people of a certain age that is a huge and important part of being good at Lagree and what we do.
Yeah.
That's really cool. So I feel like we could keep talking forever, but what's next for you guys? Anything new and exciting on the horizon, both in terms of your master trainer work or in terms of your studios? What's coming up?
I mean, we got some training scheduled. Yeah. We got booked out through, I think, the summer, which is awesome. So we're excited to do those. And
how do people, is it the same Instagram if they want to reach out to you for Teach Lagree? Okay.
Yeah. And then also on the Scorch Fit AVL website, there's a training page. So it's built into Scorch, but the emails go to us. So if you're interested in getting certified, so we get a lot of contact through that, people in the area or outside the area. And a lot of our people we've made relationships with, and then they hire us back. So we get to go we've helped studios with their first training before they open, and then we get to go visit them again when they're open and be like, yay, and celebrate them and support them and help certify new teachers. So it's really fun to see that as well. And then as far as for Scorch, I don't know, if you would have asked me 4 years ago, I would have said I would never open a second location. Those words came out of my mouth, and here I am with 2. So are there more in the future? I don't know. I think it could be fun, but this reopening of the lost location was very, very expensive. So need to spend a little bit of time.
You're like Michael, stop asking exhausting questions.
No, good, you're good. Yeah. You never know. Like I'll say that today and then like 2 weeks from now, I'll be like, we're opening another location, so who knows? I mean, it's so fun. Like I said before, I'm not a business person. This wasn't on my life trajectory of going to nursing school and being a nurse practitioner to pivot and do both and open a studio and be a business owner. And, it's been very challenging, but it's also been very awesome and rewarding. And I do enjoy doing it. So we'll see.
Very cool.
Yeah. Well, Michael, first of all, I want to say something about you too. I know you do such a great job of highlighting your guests and stuff, but I don't think we get to know enough about all the awesome things that you do. And the fact, I know you talked a little bit about moving from Los Angeles to France, and you travel all around Europe doing trainings. You were an opera singer, which I think you said you did before when you were music, and you just do such an amazing job of uplifting your community. We didn't really actually meet at the level 3 that we were at. We were on total opposite sides of the room.
Yeah.
But the way that you just have been championing us, from the very beginning, I know it's really, really your kindness and the way that you just love the people that you get to serve and be around. It's very, very special. And so just thank you for being you. And thank you. I think more people need to know how phenomenal you are. And thank you for doing this podcast and for people are very lucky to be affected by you. And we feel very lucky to be supported by you. So thank you.
Well, thank you so much. I really appreciate that.
The biggest thing too, sorry to cut you off, but it's you also had to take a crazy test, crazy fitness test in French.
Oh my God.
Like that, when you told me that too, I was
this is the part where we start crying. This is where the tears come in.
I mean, not only did you uproot your whole life and go and do something in another language, but then you had to learn everything that you knew about fitness in French and stuff too. It's wildly impressive, and just want to applaud you and way to go.
Oh, thank you. Yeah. Multiple choice exams in physiology, anatomy, nutrition science, 30-minute presentation in French. And it was insane, but I did it and it's done.
You did
and we don't talk about it anymore.
Exactly. It's in the past. We're good.
Wow.
Thank you both so much. I just admire so much what you do and how you do it, and the spirit the generosity. You are the exemplars of what we talk about when we say educate, motivate, and inspire. And I just encourage everyone to follow you and your social media and reach out for certifications. You couldn't find anyone better for it. And thanks again so much for being on the podcast today.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us.
Appreciate it.
Very special to spend time with you.
Yeah.
Thank you for joining me for this episode of Do You Lagree? I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. If so, please like, subscribe, and share. If you'd like to take your Lagree practice or teaching further, check out my book, 400 Lagree Routines, at chipmanlagree.com and on Amazon Kindle. There you'll find hundreds of classic full body, upper body, and lower body sequences to keep your workouts challenging and inspiring for many weeks to come. And please do connect with me on social media and my website for more conversations, tips, and upcoming episodes. And if you're enjoying the podcast, leaving a review is a great way to help others discover it. Until next time, be well, be strong, and keep shaking.